Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sun turned into a black hole right now? Let's start with a bit of context. The sun, our closest star, is a colossal glowing sphere of hot gas, primarily hydrogen and helium. Over billions of years, it's been ceaselessly converting hydrogen into helium through nuclear fusion, releasing an incredible amount of energy in the process. This energy, which we perceive as heat and light, is what enables life on our blue marble, Earth. Now consider this. What if our life-giving sun were to morph into a black hole? It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel, doesn't it? But let's entertain this hypothetical scenario for a moment. To understand it, we first need to grasp the concept of gravitational pull, which is affected by two factors: mass and distance. Every object in the universe, from the smallest particle to the most massive star, possesses gravity. The sun's gravity, for example, is what keeps the Earth and other planets in our solar system in orbit. This gravitational pull depends on the mass of the objects involved and the distance between them. The more massive an object is, and the closer it is to another, the stronger its gravitational pull. Now, for a star to become a black hole, it has to go through a process known as a supernova, an explosive event that occurs when a star has exhausted its nuclear fuel. But here's the catch. Our sun isn't massive enough to go supernova. It's just a medium-sized star. And when it exhausts its fuel billions of years from now, it will likely become a white dwarf, not a black hole. However, let's imagine, for the sake of our thought experiment, that the sun did have enough mass to go supernova and subsequently become a black hole. What would happen then? So, if the sun were to suddenly transform into a black hole, the first thing we'd notice is nothing. And that's right, at first everything would seem just as it is now. You see, there's a common misconception that black holes are cosmic hoovers, sucking up everything in their vicinity. But in reality, black holes and stars exert the same gravitational pull at the same distance. In other words, if our sun were to morph into a black hole this very instant, the Earth wouldn't suddenly be yanked from its orbit and drawn into a swirling vortex of doom. No, we'd continue our merry dance around the newly formed black hole, just as we've been doing around the sun for billions of years. But why is that? Well, it all boils down to a little thing called gravity. The Earth is kept in its orbit by the sun's gravitational pull, a force determined by its mass. If the sun were to become a black hole, its mass wouldn't change. It would simply be compressed into a much smaller space. So, the gravitational pull we feel here on Earth wouldn't change either. We'd keep circling the black hole at the same distance and speed as we do the sun. Now let's talk about the light, or rather, the lack thereof. Light travels at a mind-boggling speed, roughly 186,000 miles per second. So even if the sun turned into a black hole right now, we wouldn't know about it for another 8 minutes or so, until the last rays of sunlight reached us. That's because it takes light approximately 8 minutes to travel the 93 million miles from the sun to the Earth. So for a brief period, we'd continue to bask in the sun's glow, blissfully unaware of the cataclysmic cosmic event that had just taken place. Life would go on as usual. The birds would keep singing, the waves would keep crashing, and we'd all keep going about our day. But after those 8 minutes, that's when things start to get really dark. Imagine, one moment you're in broad daylight, the next complete darkness. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? A world without the warm embrace of sunlight, plunged into an eternal icy night. Our vibrant, life-sustaining planet would suddenly become eerily quiet and unimaginably cold, a world of shadows and silence. The drop in temperature would be immediate and severe. Picture the coldest winter you've ever experienced, then multiply that by a factor of unthinkable. The surface of the Earth would freeze, oceans would start to solidify, and the once blue skies would become a vacant void of black. But it's not just the cold we'd have to worry about. Without sunlight, photosynthesis would come to a screeching halt. Plants, the foundation of nearly all food chains on Earth, would wither and die. Over time, this would lead to a catastrophic domino effect, causing the collapse of ecosystems worldwide. The disappearance of plant life would also mean the end of oxygen production. This wouldn't cause immediate suffocation. There's enough oxygen in the atmosphere to last for thousands of years, but the long-term prospects for life as we know it would be grim. In the face of such a scenario, survival strategies would have to be ingenious and radical. Humans might try to survive by creating artificial environments, harnessing geothermal energy, or perhaps even exploring the deep sea, where life exists in total darkness, sustained by the Earth's internal heat. Other life forms might evolve to adapt to this new reality, developing entirely new ways to thrive in a sunless world. But these are drastic measures for a drastic situation. The truth is, without the sun, our world as we know it would cease to exist. Our planet's dance around its star is what makes life possible, what makes life flourish. The sun is more than just a celestial body. It's the heart of our solar system, the engine of life. It's a grim scenario, but one that highlights just how much we rely on our sun. So to sum up, if the sun turned into a black hole right now, let's revisit the key points, shall we? The Earth's orbit would remain the same due to the unchanged gravitational pull. We'd still be dancing the same celestial dance around our sun, now a black hole. But the music would be dramatically different. We'd have about 8 minutes of light left, a fleeting twilight before eternal night. Once those precious moments pass, a permanent darkness and biting cold would envelop us. The sun's life-giving light and warmth extinguished, life as we know it would be disrupted, maybe even extinguished over time. Yet, in this harrowing scenario, we glimpse the profound significance of our humble sun. We often take the sun for granted, but it's clear that without it, life on Earth would be dramatically different. So, the next time you feel the warmth of the sun on your face, remember just how vital it is to our existence.